What's up, everybody? Joe Quills here with you. I am back. Welcome aboard, everybody. And you are watching the return of the Joe Quills show here on Twitch, part of Bleacher Brothers. And got a fun night here tonight. And hopefully, you haven't missed me too much, at least on here. And if you are not, if you didn't miss me, then the heck with you. Not one kid. But got a lot to catch up on. And we're also going to do a couple of different things I haven't done before. Um, well, we'll catch up on things. We'll talk a little baseball, actually, a lot of baseball. A couple of stories I do want to hit. Um, some Phillies news. Rhys Hoskins returned to Citizens Bank Park today. The whole fiasco in New York, the Mets, that is. Um, Justin Jefferson got paid. Got some Uncle Ernie news for those that are new um, to my show. Um, we do have an unofficial horse, and the name of the horse is Uncle Ernie. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. The Belmont has been drawn. Give you initial thoughts on that, and anything else I can fit in here tonight. So I'm back, and I feel great, and you know a lot of things were going on there, and it was just all over the place. I was like, all right, well, we'll take a break. And, I consulted AJ, our leader here at Bleacher Brothers, because, even though I'm not using the Bleacher Brothers account, um, you know, I am part of Bleacher Brothers, and, I do my thing, and we go from there. And, um, you know, I consult him with a lot of things just because of everything going on. So I did tell you guys the last I streamed, and it was back on May the 2nd. So 1 month ago yesterday. So it's been a while. Um, AJ and I went up to the Meadowlands, both the business complex that the seminar was that we went to for 2 days. And we also went to the Meadowlands racetrack. That was AJ said it was very sad. I mean, me, because it must be because sitting through the Philly turf clubs, a little bit different for me, but he's a Florida guy, so I can understand that. So we had all that. Then there was some behind the scenes stuff, and I'm not going to get into too much with that, but and I apologize for that. My work computer went off there because I'm not using my regular computer here tonight. Um, we had some things going on. So I was like, you know what? We'll take a break. Um, because um, the one thing that we were going to do was I'm going to be the 9 to 11 p.m. slot on Bleacher Brothers. And part of the reason why is I work till 7:30 every day. So it gives me time to prep for the show, have dinner, whatever I have to do between 7:30 and 9 to get ready and do any other things I have to do. So we got pushed, it got pushed back. Um, so, um, So then last week, I went to Seattle for a few days to visit friends, and also went to Emerald Downs, if you can see that. Um, so, so I had a Memorial Day trip, and things happen. Um, so that's what happened here. For the most part, it was like a lot of boring life stuff and things with Bleacher Brothers that we're advancing on as well. And So what I'm going to be doing is this is going to be a test run for the next 6 weeks, I guess, until the expected announcement that I don't know if I'm at liberty to say what it is. I'm sure if AJ was watching or listening right now, he could tell you what that was. But when you have a situation where You want to protect the brand. You want to build the brand, everything like that. You don't want to do something and screw things up. So I don't know if I'm at liberty to say what's going on. I would rather say let somebody else spill the beans right now. And once I hear a person or two spilling the beans, then I will say it. But um, when that one thing does happen, we are going to be adding Wednesday nights. I'm going to be a I'm going to be a 4 night a week streamer, and I'm also going to continue to do my Saturday show with AJ called Also Eligible, which is a horse racing podcast. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show as well, because this is all about having fun. I don't take this seriously. I do see that there's 3 people watching on X, aka Twitter. Welcome aboard, everybody, and I do have somebody in the chat room as well on Twitch. So, and that's one of the big announcements. And this is something that you know I consult a couple of different streamers. I consult friends. I consult everybody. Some of the more experienced streamers, hey, you do your thing. So, and do I want to be like them? Yes. But do I want to be a person that's going to be sitting here saying, oh my God, I only got 10 bits today? No, I'm not going to be about the bits if I ever get to that point where I am whatever the first level is with Twitch. I'm not going to be that at all. Especially with my podcast, which is now called the Joe Quill Show. I am never about the numbers. I'm about more where those hits are coming from. So, um, so if you miss a show, you'll have 4 different options to watch me. You can watch me on Twitch, which is my uh, main position I'm going to go with, the main platform, I should say. And I've added YouTube and I've added Twitter, aka X. And yeah, Elon officially changed Twitter to X for those that didn't pay. So whatever. But if I call it Twitter, unless I have somebody above me telling me, dude, it's X, it's not Twitter. So I'm going to be calling it Twitter. So those are 3 ways you can watch. YouTube and Twitch will definitely be on demand as well. And let's say you're out in the car and you want to listen to my god awful voice, you can subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And I do not think I am on Apple yet. I think I got to do 5 episodes for them to pick it up. So even though I've been approved for Apple, just to let you guys know what's going on there if you're an Apple subscriber. So you are going to have to resubscribe Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, Amazon, iHeart. I think I'm on iHeart. I mean, I use Spreaker to distribute everything out, and I got email after email. You're now on here. You're now on here. You're now on here. I'm like, geez, thanks for flooding my email, but yeah, that's the way I am. And I'm not going to get into, I'm not going to get into worrying about the number of hits, or if I get to the point where I'm at the next stage and on Twitch, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about the number of bits or anything like that, or donations or anything like that, because I'm not about the donations. I'm not about the bits. But if you do donate, I greatly appreciate it. So just to let you know that as well. Um, so one other thing is, and this is the funny thing here, and I'll just let you know, I do write articles for Bleacher Brothers. Now, my articles are mostly horse racing related, and what I've been doing is a segment called Quills Picks Winners, and it drops on the Bleacher Brothers website, bleacherbrothers.com, at 11 a.m. So, what we are going to do tonight, and we are about 15, 20 minutes away from the third race at Assiniboia Downs. Um, I might even attempt to call that race. So, as horrible as it is, as I would be, but it's a little fun thing. I'm not taking myself seriously. I mean, do you really want somebody who takes himself seriously all the time? Um, I just want to be myself, be a little goofy, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we'll go from there. So, um, but you know, I mean, because I know I have people watching uh, on X and on Twitch. So, say hello. If you got something to say, and even if it's worthy, I'll highlight it on there. Um, so let me just say this. So we'll go from there. So um, let's get to it here. Let's begin with some football news. And Justin Jefferson got paid the highest contract the biggest contract per year that was not a quarterback getting paid, and it's 4 years for 140 for a contract extension. So that's about 30. I think it's 35 a year if you break it down into 4 years, but it's $110 million guaranteed. He's going to get 88.7 million upfront. So it's a big deal. And when you have a rookie quarterback and you have Sam Darnold there, who don't get much money, much of a salary, you can afford to do this. So, I mean, that's why a lot of these teams that are not doing too well, they draft a quarterback in the first or second round. You get a low salary cap hit. I mean, I think even um, Brock Purdy, at least one of the years, his contract was so low that he was not considered. Um, he was not part of the salary cap. So, but you know, if you got a good enough quarterback, you have a good enough. If you got a good enough quarterback who's young and on that rookie contract, you can spend that money elsewhere. So, good for him. Um, you know, but CD Lamb's going to be next to get paid, and we're going to start seeing the top-notch wide receivers going to, and their agents going to the owners and saying, "Hey, he got paid. What about me?" And it's the same in baseball with the highest salaries. You have next man up who's going to get the biggest deal. I mean, we've seen it the last 3-4 years in the NFL with quarterbacks. Um, next man up, boom, they get paid. They make a couple $1 million more than the next guy, and that's how everybody gets paid. So I I mean this is I mean Justin Jefferson is probably the best non-quarterback offensive player in the league right now. And some will say Christian McCaffrey. Okay, yeah, everybody can have their say there. And I'm not afraid of someone telling me otherwise. If you're going to join me in the chat, let me know. Send it, and we'll send it on over, and I'll highlight it, and and the way that I am, as long as you don't say, "Oh, you're an F and A hole." Okay, well, why am I an F and A hole? If it's just because you're just an a-hole, goodbye. I'm not wasting my time. But if it's something where we can turn it into a debate, I'm more than happy to do that. So, but um, Justin Jefferson said on Instagram today, "The time has finally come. The deal I've been waiting for since I was a little kid. Being doubted my whole career, not being highly recruited, not being the first receiver off the board. The whole journey wasn't easy for me. To be given a gift to play football at the highest level, it's a blessing. It's an honor, and good for him. He deserves it. Um, and he also gambled on himself because he turned down a $28 million offer from Minnesota, hoping to get a bigger deal, and he got it. He gambled on himself and he won. Got a big contract. He gets to stay in Minnesota for another 4 years after this year. He's set through 2028, and good for him. And Big Mike says, "My name is Richard. Richard as in Mr. Cranium." And yeah, that's the one good thing about this program that I'm streaming off of to YouTube, to Twitch, and to Twitter. I can highlight when somebody says something, and there you go. And by the way, I just noticed I do not have my scroll here. That's because I was looking to update it last minute, but there you go. There's the stuff that I planned on talking about, and I just ran out of room there as well. So, uh, but yeah, so Justin Jefferson got paid. Um, Vikings owner Mark and Ziggy Wolf said that Jefferson earned this contract, and yeah, he did. We're thrilled he can remain a Viking for a very long time. And in a way, he can thank Kirk Cousins for that because he's no longer with the Vikings. He is now with the Atlanta Falcons. Um, the general manager, Quise Adolfo Mensa. And also, if I mispronounce a name, it's not done on purpose. Um, and Mike agrees with me. Jefferson is a beast. Um, the general manager said, "From the moment I arrived in Minnesota, Justin has consistently proven to be one of our best players in the NFL on and off the field. We're excited for having him as a cornerstone for our team for a long time to come. He's the living embodiment of our culture with his joyful dedication to process and our goals. We couldn't be more excited for Justin and his family." So, and, you know, he's going to be there for 5 more years. He's going to be a terror to defenses around the league. Um, now, Jefferson did repeatedly endorse Cousins' return, but he's never said it would be a factor in whether or not he would re-sign with the Vikings. But but he hasn't said anything about Cousins going to Atlanta, and maybe it's the best thing just not to say anything. Do you really need to? I mean, yeah, you're one of the leaders, if not the leader on the offense, and maybe even the whole team. But I had to turn that off because you're going to start seeing some work stuff on there. The work screensaver, but um, but he was the fifth wide receiver taken in 2020. When Stephon Diggs got traded to the Bills, he was the well-timed replacement. Some teams thought Jefferson would be limited to a slot role, but the Vikings viewed him as an all-position receiver. And I didn't look for this video because I didn't have time. Apparently, Rick Spielman was seen laughing when the Eagles took Jalen Reagor at number 21. Now, if the Vikings were at 21 and the Eagles were at 22, I'm sure Howie Roseman would have laughed his ass off if they took Jalen Reagor too. I'm not going to, even though I never saw that video, didn't take an opportunity to look it up. I probably would have done the same thing. So, but he's getting paid. Um, he set all kinds of records. Most receiving yards in his first three seasons of a career, 48-25, even though they had played an extra game now. He eclipsed 1,000 yards in 23 despite missing 7 games and parts of 2 others. So, like Mike said, he is a beast. And he got paid, and he has an opportunity to get paid because he is with a rookie quarterback and a bridge quarterback right now in Sam Darnold. So that is the case right now. And just to give you an update here, because the race for the Quills Picks winners article from this morning, that is coming up in 6 minutes. And let me go here. The five, can you hear me running? Is it 3-5? The 3-5 favorite. My pick in my pick in my article today was the three. Uh, the three is keep calm and cruise on. He was scratched. He was cross-entered into a maiden special weight race. I mean, I thought he could have won against this group of five, which is now a group of four. Um, Magnolia Speed is the second choice at 5-2. Lieutenant Norm is 4-1, and Thirsty Baby is 6-1. That is 5 minutes to post for the third race at Assiniboia Downs. And for those that are wondering what I do with that, um, and I can tell you this real quick here before we go on here. Um, Originally, the plan was there was a site called Sport of Kings, and they had handicapping contests, and I finished up in the top 20 in their Breeders' Cup contest back last year, and it was like 500 people involved in it. And now, mind you, I got in on the very last monthly contest, so you know every month that they had from April to November, if you were in the top 20 or if you were in the top 50, you got in. But after a while, it starts dropping, and you would allow like the number 85 person because 35 people above you were already qualified. So um, but I finished 20th, and they would provide free programs. They would provide a program for the race of the day for the week. That was a weekly contest, and they had a monthly contest where you would have 3 races a week. It used to be 5; it went from 5 to 3. And my plan was one race Monday through Friday, and if all 3 races were on Saturday, I would have a 3 race article on Saturday, and I would have one on Sunday, or depending on how the schedule worked out. Sporting King shut down. So um, I started scrambling like you wouldn't believe. It's like, oh, how am I going to do this? I just started this article. So it's turned into one race a day for the most part. Saturdays are usually 2, sometimes 3. With the Belmont this weekend, who knows how many races I'll do. And also some other news I have coming up later on. But you do have a race a day for me, except when AJ tells me to not do anything, not do any races, like when I'm on vacation, even though I still ended up at Emerald Downs uh, last week. But, you know, I would just say, um, you know, if you want to read an article, head on over to Bleacher Brothers. My article drops usually around 11 o'clock. or you can just follow me on Twitter, um, follow me here on Twitch, follow me here on YouTube. Almost everything I have is Joe Quills. So, if you're looking for me, 99% of the time it is Joe Quills. So don't worry about that. So, and if there's something going on that's not Joe Quills, I'll let you know. So, so um, today was an historic day in Philadelphia. 2 years ago today, Joe Girardi was told to get out, and Rob Thompson slid over from the bench coach job to the manager. And the team has not looked back ever since. Granted, we had there I go again. The only pronouns that I worry about is we versus they. Because am I part of the team? No. I'm part of the fan base, but I'm not an actual member of the team. I don't run the team. I don't do anything. But um, but they haven't looked back except for a couple of slow starts in 22 and 23. This year has been bonkers. Um, as the Phillies won again tonight. So 2 years ago today, Joe Girardi was told to get out, and Rob Thompson took over. And from the rules and the stringent rules that Joe Girardi had, it turned into a much looser atmosphere in the Phillies clubhouse, and everything's been great ever since. Um, so thankfully, Rob Thompson is the guy. And as you can see here, I am starting trouble here for those that are watching, because everybody will tell you that Charlie Manuel is the best manager in Phillies history, and I call bullshit. And it is 9:20. It's 9:31. So if you had that on your lotto tonight, congratulations, you're the lucky winner. Nothing for the first real curse of the night. So, um, I just think that Charlie Manuel's a fraud, and we can discuss that another time. I would give Dallas Green more credit than Charlie Manuel. But I think if Rob Thompson were to win World Series with the Phillies, he would be leaps and bounds better. Uh, and Mike did not have me at 9:31 cursing, so sorry, Mike, you lost. So 9:31. Um, but if the Phillies do win the World Series, whether it's this year or you know whatever, um, the um, I will say Rob Thompson is the best manager in Phillies history if he isn't already. Um, but that's just me. So I just think Charlie Manuel is extremely overrated. And so I think I'm going to have to play this on my computer here. Um, I'm not going to be able to show the race live, but depending on what they're doing here, because on TVG, aka FanDuel TV, um, on FanDuel TV, you can see that the seventh race of Woodbine Mohawk is going off. And the question is whether Assiniboia Downs is going to stall or not. It looks like they're not. So you're going to get Woodbine live, and it looks like you're going to get Assiniboia on tape delay. Or, as my friend Chris said today on my Facebook page, he called ASD ass downs, ASS downs. And trust me, it's definitely not top notch racing, but it is. It is um, a track where horses go to die, where their careers go to die, I should say. I shouldn't say they go to die because then the animal activists will be after me because they'll say that I'm going after that stuff. So Uncle Charlie had the team Pat Gillick gave him. Actually, Pat Gillick assumed Charlie Manuel as the manager because Charlie Manuel was hired by Ed Wade. But we are going to the post here. They're off. And Can You Hear Me Running goes for the lead, followed by Magnolia Speed, about three-quarters of a length back. You got Lieutenant Norm coming up third, and in the rear is Thirsty Baby as they go by whatever pole that is. And Can You Hear Him Running goes for the lead, leading by about a length here, like I thought he would in the article. Magnolia Speed is right at the latch. Lieutenant Norm is about two lengths back. Thirsty Baby coming on here on along the rail. And they turned for home here with 3/16 to go. And Can You Hear Me Running, who's 4 for 4, is trying to go 5 for 5, wearing saddle cloth number 5, is leading by about a length. And here comes Magnolia Speed on the outside. And Magnolia Speed wins the Bobby Q Overnight Stakes by about a length. Can You Hear Me Running finishes second. And whatever you do not send that to the local racetracks because that was fucking horrible. uh, so, I even snuck in the Assiniboia race there. So, just to give you a heads up, for those that are listening after the fact and watching after the fact, or even watching live here, tomorrow's race will also be Assiniboia Downs. It'll be race number 5, and that will be another overnight stakes, as they call it. These races where give these horses a couple extra bucks to run for, and it was chosen by the Daily Racing Form. I didn't choose it, and we'll go from there. So actually, the four ended up the 7-5 favorite here. So 7-5 over 9-5 there at Assiniboia Down. So um, so get back to the baseball here. Um, so Rob Thompson will definitely be the best manager in Phillies history if they win. If they win a World Series, so I will say that right now. Um, Probably the best manager already that's never won a World Series for the Phillies, and trust me, there are hundreds of managers that ran the Phillies. So just give me an idea. So um, now, today marked the return of Rhys Hoskins, and good to have him back, even though he's in the opposing colors. Got a standing ovation at the start of the game, and he went. He had one hit in the game, which was their only run, a home run, as the Phillies won again tonight, 3-1, and the Phillies just keep on winning. And I could be a little bit pissed off because they lost to the Cardinals. Um, I could be a little extra pissed off because I had the Phillies minus a run and a half last night because I had a parlay as well. Phillies minus 1.5 runs, Edmonton minus 1.5 goals. Both of them lost, so thankfully I'm not sweating a bet to the last minute and seeing that lose. So, but um, Rhys Hoskins back at a standing ovation, first plate appearance, and there was a play. I think it was in the fourth or fifth inning. Base hit up the middle. Uh, Rhys Hoskins decided to challenge Johan Rojas, and uh, Rhys Hoskins tried to slide head first. Why you do that at home plate, I don't know. Maybe because of the fact that the catcher can't block the plate anymore. But he tried to slide around the tag, and JT Realmuto held that perfectly and tagged him out the plate. JT tapped him on the ass. Rhys Hoskins tapped him on the ass back. Whether that was joking around or not, I would think so. But when they did that, I'm like, oh no, somebody on Milwaukee is not going to like that because of the fact that Rhys Hoskins has started a couple bench clearers this year. Now, bench clearers is a relative term because it's not full fledged brawl, but opening day, Jeff McNeil got his panties in a bunch because of Rhys Hoskins sliding hard into second base. It was a questionable slide. I'll give him credit for that, but it it, it just it just seemed a little. Uh, I mean, it wasn't dirty. It was just a late slide. There's difference between dirty and late, and that was just a late slide. And then there was an actual brawl, actual bench clearing brawl last month, I believe, and that was the um, what was it? And also, I know I have ADD, so things I start talking things and things disappear from me. Um, um, oh yeah, that brawl. Rhys Hoskins was at first base, and the pitcher started talking shit, and then they started fighting. So Rhys wasn't directly involved, but he wasn't the guy that was actually fighting. He got knocked over or something, I believe. But um, who knew Rojas had an arm? Well, he's got two of them. And Rhys Hoskins sold second base. Man, that must have been a bad throw by JT if he stole a base. Um, but he's but it was a you know if Johan Rojas can learn how to hit and hit well, let's change that. If he learns how to hit consistently, and Mike didn't like my joke there. Um, because part of the reason why Rojas hit 300 in the second half of the year last year was because of the fact that there wasn't much scouting on him. He's playing at Double A. You didn't expect him to be in the majors, and I'm sure you could talk to your minor league affiliate if you had a team that was in the Eastern League where the Reading Fighting Phillies play. Um, but in the playoffs, Rojas went ice cold, proved the spotlight was too big for him, and he struggled this year too because it's a constant battle. It's a constant battle between the pitchers adjusting to the hitters to get them out, and then the batters got to adjust back because okay, now we have video of you. You tend to do this, this, and this. Okay, well, we're going to do something else and see if you can get a hit off of this. And they found a weakness in his game at the plate, and they've taken advantage of it. Like for example, Nick Castellanos, aka Small Dick Nick, he's he's chasing that low and away slider almost every single time. I mean, when the playoffs come around, when when the NLCS happened last year, the World Series 2 years ago, in the beginning of this year, it's sliders low and away, all speed low and away. Boom, strike three, swing and a miss, swing and a miss, and thankfully it's getting to that time of the year where he can provide enough air conditioning for that side of the field. Um, Maybe he can get some pointers from Juan Pierre. Um, I don't know what Juan Pierre's doing. I mean, him, you know, you got guys all up and down you know, you got guys all up and down the organization that can help him, even if it's like, I don't know, like a Mickey Morandini coming out from his special front office perch where he plays with his pens and pencils and wonders where he can put on his jersey to pretend that he's doing something special. Um, you know, Whatever it is. But, um, you could, and I'm sure that he talks to other players, I'm sure, and I think Trey Turner was helping him out too. Um, but there is a whole bunch of things going on, a whole bunch of things there that they did there. So, but he'll be fine. Um, Now, when I hop onto that fourth night, that Wednesday to make it 4 nights a week in a couple of weeks, um, there are probably going to be commercials. There's going to be sports updates, score updates, that sort of thing. And since this is a um, dry run for the middle of July, personally, I'd like to use lube, but just some updates from the major leagues today. As you know, Phillies won 3-1. Um, where's it at here? Um, Mets lead the Nationals 8-5. Baltimore defeated Toronto 7-2. Bottom of the seventh in Texas. Detroit and Texas are tied at 1. Bottom of the fifth, St. Louis leads Houston 4-2. That had to be a fun flight. I mean, to go 4.5 hours and only change 1 hour in the time zone. That had to be a horrible flight last night. Cincinnati leads Colorado 7-3 in the fourth in Denver. San Diego is on the board first against the Angels, and San Francisco and Arizona are scoreless in the bottom of the first. So, um, now I did mention San Diego, and this story broke earlier today. And sometimes when these stories break that are talking about suspensions, bans, something like that, um, a lot of times it seems like it's the publication. I want to say newspaper, but I mean, even though it is a newspaper, it's everything's all digital now. Um, it seems like it's not the New York Times Sports or New York Post Sports or the Philadelphia Inquirer or the LA Times. Um, if you remember when um, A Rod got his year suspension or whatever long it was, year and a half, it was some rag paper in Miami that we, the people outside of Miami, never heard of. They mentioned this story and they stood by it. MLB investigated, and A Rod got suspended. Well, the Wall Street Journal, of all pages, they reported today that Tucupita Marcano could be facing a lifetime gambling ban. And the one thing is, and we talked about this months ago when some of the actually last year for some of the NFL bans when they were coming into play here. Um, like for example, if you're geolocating to your clubhouse, you do not want to be there because you bet on you may have bet on basketball, but you did it on team property, so we got to ban you for a year or whatever it is. Baseball, we know about their ban. You bet on baseball, you're gone. We know that from Pete Rose. Shoeless Joe Jackson was banned because he was considered part of the Black Sox scandal, even though you could argue that he should have never been suspended for life because of everything that happened with that, because he only went to like the first or second grade and had to go to work and didn't, never learned to read or anything like that. But um, this Marcano could be facing a lifetime ban. Now, MLB received information that he wagered on games involving the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was with the team last season. Now, if this is true, welcome to the Pete Rose Club, even though we know that you were never getting into the Hall of Fame because you're 24 years old, probably have less than a year of Major League service, and you need 10 years of service to be an MLB Hall of Fame ballot uh, candidate. But Marcano has yet to be formally penalized. But the rule, and this rule used to be in every locker room from the beginning of time, it seems. So everybody goes, oh, steroids, blah, blah, blah. Steroids weren't a thing in 1920. At least we don't think. Actually, the performance enhancing drugs were sex and drugs and beer, or in Babe Ruth's case, hot dogs. But Rule 21, MLB Rule 21, explicitly states a player who bets on games involving his own team is subject to a lifetime ban. Now, Marcano was on the injured list at the time with an ACL tear. And his bets, which were flagged by a sportsbook and reported to the league. And that's the one thing with these sports books. If there's any irregularities or something like this, where you see a major league player has an account and they see something like that, they're going to flag it right away. And good for whatever sports book it is. And I imagine he was probably in Pittsburgh at the time, or wherever his minor league team was if he was with the minors. But now, this comes in the wake of the NBA handing down a lifetime penalty to Toronto Raptors forward Jonte Porter for disclosing confidential information to bettors, like injury reports and stuff like that, limiting his participation in at least one game, um, and betting on on NBA games while playing in the G League. I almost called it the D League because it used to be the D League. Now, Four other minor league players are facing potential discipline for gambling as well. But here's the thing with Marcano's um, situation as it's come to light here. Even if a player in the minor leagues is on a team's 40-man roster, he would face a 1 year suspension for gambling on major league games, according to Rule 21. Now, now I have to read that whole rule on my off time, and good luck with that because I'm always doing something. Um, but if you bet on baseball, pretty much you're done, especially if you're in the major leagues. Um, and I think it's lifetime ban, but you can reapply after a year. And you know, they never let Shoeless Joe back. They never let Pete Rose back. They're probably going to let him go into the Hall of Fame after he dies. But it's just really a um, really something that I get the feeling he's going to plead ignorance here and say, "Oh, I didn't know it was my account on there," because you can have somebody bet for you, or you can bet under another person's login. But if you're basically going to bet on baseball, you know, I mean that it isn't like steroids or any other drugs or enhancement drug and performance enhancing drugs or anything like that. You know, even though the penalties are severe now as opposed to a slap on the wrist 10 games when Rafael Palmeiro got his. Um, but the one thing I will say about Rafael Palmeiro when he got it, um, he got punished the rest of his career because guess what? He felt the wrath of the fans. Now it just seems like 81 games, whatever. But um, but you know, ever since um, sportsbook gambling got approved in the United States through that uh, trial a few years ago. Um, it's particularly sensitive in baseball because of Pete Rose. Um, um, he's still banned for gambling. The White Sox threw the World Series in 1919. You can watch Eight Men Out. Um, um, and you know about Shohei Otani's attorney, interpreter, who has indicated he plans to plead guilty to federal felony charges for admitting he stole money from Otani. There's also a case here, and I'm not sure if it is because of um, um, I'm not sure if this is among the name that was mentioned and the four other minor leaguers. I don't know if this guy's included because I think he's in the minor leagues right now. But um, a former teammate of Shohei Otani, David Fletcher, um, he's being investigated for betting on sports with the same illegal bookmaker who took the wagers from Mizuhara, who was the interpreter. And that was according to ESPN's Tisha Thompson. Um, Now, the last person who faced discipline for gambling in baseball was Jared Kozart back in 2015 when he was with the Marlins. He was fined for placing bets on bets not on baseball, but with an illegal bookmaker. And back then, nobody could bet on sports. Well, in Oregon and Delaware. but in Delaware it was just football parlays at the time. But um, since the Supreme Court ruling in 2018, 12 NFL players, an assistant coach, and an undisclosed number of league personnel have been suspended for violating the gambling policy. And, you know, in some cases, it's stupidity. The one thing I said to about the NFL with their rule that you can't wager while you're on uh, where you're at the practice facility, drive a mile up the road, then make the wager, and just make sure it's not on football. But um, now MLB and the Players Association did decline comment on Mercado's situation. Pirates Senior Vice President of Communications Brian Warecki told ESPN, "We're aware of the matter. It's under investigation. We're cooperating, and we're refraining from um, future comment right now." And um, the Padres said, who Marcano is now with, "We're aware of an active investigation by Major League Baseball regarding a matter that occurred when the player in question was a member of another organization and not affiliated with the Padres. We will not have further comment." And Marcano rejoined the Padres this winter as a waiver claim after they had sent him to Pittsburgh in the 2021 trade deadline in a trade for Adam Frazier. So, um, if you're betting on baseball and you're a baseball player, you deserve it. That's all I have to say. You know, and I understand the itch with gambling. You know, some people have so much money they don't know what to do with it, and hopefully he doesn't have like a simple account that somebody else gambled on baseball on it. But whatever happens, um, we'll find out what happens with this in the next weeks or months. So, um, I do want to mention. Um, I do want to mention this here because this is actually a story from last week. And I'll just say it like it is. The Mets are an epic shit show. And um, I'm sure you saw the video, and I'm not going to show that video of Jorge Lopez getting thrown out of a game, undressing, well, just pulling the shirt out from the pants, untucking his shirt like all baseball players do now, and ended up, throwing his glove into the stands. Now, granted, with the dent there, he's now got to throw it way up in the air, and a fan caught it. So then he said a bunch of things like he's the worst teammate in sports, and the team is horrible, blah blah blah. And you take it for what it's worth. And I understand both sides of view, both points of view here of what happened in this situation. But I'm going to share my screen here. No, that's not what I want. We'll use this. What the hell? So Jorge Lopez was with the Mets, and I'm going to share this video for you. I have a problem about this on several different levels. Because after his rant, after the game, he got designated for assignment, or as we lovingly call it, DFA. Um, This was, I believe, last Friday. The game was last Thursday. And if this does not play, I do apologize. Um, Hopefully, this does play. This was um, Boomer Esiason on his show, which is called Boomer and Geo, which is on WFAN, and I think it's also on. Yeah, it's also on the CBS Sports Network. I'm gonna play this video here. Hopefully, it plays for you guys, and Mike will be my guinea pig here. This was Boomer Esiason, I believe, on Friday. Whoops. Okay, so hopefully you heard that. Um, is what in Braille. But Mike, let me know if you heard that because there was a bunch of information there, and um, all right, so that's something I got to work on. So basically, what he said was some guy Nunzio, Vinny Bubats, whatever, mentioned that Jorge Lopez's son was a um, he's on a transplant list, and obviously that's probably weighing a toll on him because he's been sick, and if you're on a transplant list, things do not look good for your survival. And also being that it's your son, and also the fact that parents should not have to bury their children at any time. Um, but the one problem I have with Boomer Esiason, and now mind you, I don't know the whole story here with everything that Boomer Esiason says. I don't know everything with the story, so yeah. And if for those that are new watching this, I'm going to tell you right now. If I don't know everything, I'm going to tell you I don't know everything. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Now, I don't know how common this issue is with the general public, that his son had all kinds of issues. So, and I just got Mike's text that the video wasn't playing. So, whatever. So, I will say this: if 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 this was something that he was dealing with privately, in my opinion, this could be a HIPAA violation. You know, because it's like, let's say Mike has a medical issue, and I go around telling everybody here on Twitch, you know, I could very easily, be sued. Well, we do know you have a. Oh shit, SJ's here. Hi SJ, long time no see. Yeah, I know you're late, but I know that you're busy doing all that WNBA and NBA and CBA and all BAs going on. So I'm doing good. Hope you're doing okay out there, out in Nowhereville, USA. That's what we'll call it. You've been taking it easy this week. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you need to do that. In my case, I'm just I'm back to work after being on vacation last week. But the one thing I will say is, um, you know, this may be a well-known situation in the New York market. I don't know. Um, and SJ likes the ticker at the bottom, and I can also do that. SJ, I can highlight your stuff, but that ticker is all part of the program. I can tell you about that program that I use later on. Uh, but um, but if this was not known to the general public, uh, just in the New York market, if it's known in the New York market that Lopez's son has this medical issue that needs to put him on a transplant list, if it was not known, that's a HIPAA violation, in my opinion. And Boomer could be gone. Now, Boomer, he did have his son Gunner. Um, he was very forthright in his son's issue. I forget what it is. You don't have to Google it or anything. Even though if I was watching a Bleacher Brothers show or any other show, I would be the Google guy. Oh, Boomer's son Gunner had blank, but it's not something we have to do. But I have my concern is that a HIPAA violation? Because with me working my real job, doing union work, doing Bleacher Brothers work, there's a lot of stuff that, unless you're in my inner circle, and Big Mike is in my inner circle, SJ is in my inner circle, there are some things that I will tell because I know that Mike will only tell one person, that's his wife. And SJ won't tell anybody. And if I have my soundboard up and running, if SJ were to say something, oh, Joe's doing this, that's where I would drop the Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy? Because that's what they're probably saying about me to SJ. But yeah, that's what I would say is I'm a little concerned with that. Um, but it's all you know. I mean, the whole Mets thing is a disaster, like it always is, and I understand the point of view of the manager as well. You said we have standards. Okay, you throw the glove into the crowd. Okay, that deserves a demotion, even though you could get the MLBPA to say, hey, they're not demoting me because I suck. They're demoting me because I threw a glove. But it was the glove on top of all the post game comments that led to him getting designated for assignment. But it is a tough situation. It gets compounded by by the interview that that the manager had uh, the next day, and I have to figure out how to play these videos um, on the on here. So even though I've been using EV Mux for the last couple of months, um, I'm still new at learning this, and I'm also using a new headset as well. Um, the one good thing, and Mike knows about this from being a former coworker at Business to Be Redacted. Um, and I'll answer that question in a second, Mike. Um, every 5 year anniversary, you get. I think it starts at 10. I'm not sure. I got the catalog over there, but um, this was my 25-year anniversary gift, and this is a headset with a microphone that is for gaming and streaming and all that stuff. And uh, for whatever reason, it doesn't work on my PC for whatever reason, but it works on my laptop. Go figure. But to answer Mike's question, did he throw the team under the bus? He meaning Jorge Lopez. Yes. And SJ, that's Mike. Mike is my best friend. We've known each other for 25 years. Mike has been committed a couple of times because he's known me for 25 years. Uh, uh, um, Mike, you can call her SJ. That's what she goes by. And once we go to 4 days, especially when we go to 4 days a week, towards the middle of the end of July, I might be using her as a guest. Um, that's an inside joke, SJ. You have to understand that me and Mike are um, um, we goof around like that, and just to let you know, once we get him some computer equipment, some better computer equipment, he's going to be my Monday co-host, and I can guarantee you it's going to go off the rails more than what my usual stuff does. When you got two of us acting like that, forget it. But yeah, so um, Lopez did throw the team under the bus, no doubt about it, and you have to do something about it. But once you realize why this may be happening, and you know, I mean, I know when my mom was in bad shape a few years ago before she passed. Damn, it's going to be 8 years in November. Uh, when she passed away, um, or when she was in the nursing home for the last couple of years of her life, I was a real prick, more than usual, and and the last few months of my dad's life, when I'm probably thankfully he's not around, so it's like, oh, why'd you tell them this? Because my dad would tell me many times, don't go on the Facebook and mention this, and I'm like, don't worry. you know, all because I vented about my sister the one time, and I told them, feel free to tell her. Somebody did, but seriously, um, you threw him under the bus. You have to do something, but you understand why he may have thrown the team and everybody else on the bus because hi back on front. But you throw guys. Um, there was a pitcher for the New York Mets last week, Jorge Lopez, and the video didn't play. The sound from the video didn't play, and that's on me because I'm still learning this EV Mux platform. Um, the game blew up. He threw his glove into the crowd, and then he threw the team under the bus. And if he doesn't have this issue at home, yes, he did. He did get DFA'd. He got DFA'd the next morning. Actually, right after the game, actually. But they made it look like it was the next morning. Um, but I'll tell you this: when you hear the stuff that Boomer Esiason mentioned the next morning on WFAN, um, it's like you understand why, even though you have to do that. And the thing is, he might have used the EAP from his. Let me find this here so I can get rid of that. Hold on. And SJ, I would get you off of Twitter, but you're a million miles away from me right now. Um, but you know, he might have been using the employee assistance program that the Mets would offer or Major League Baseball offers. But all that's confidential. But do you really? I mean, it tears you up because part of it says good riddance to the guy in terms of the Mets if you're a Mets fan, but then you find out his kid's on the transplant list. You can't win either way, and it's a sad story behind the scenes that you could um, talk about for weeks and months at a time, just arguing this. So it didn't look good. Um, it was just unfortunate that um, somebody um, mentioned to Boomer Esiason about the situation with Jorge Lopez and his kid. Um, I'm just concerned if that's a HIPAA violation or not because I'm careful with everything I say. Um, but yeah, I understand it's a teammate or a team they throw under the bus as well. So um, Boomer still has foot and mouth disease. Yep. But I don't. But the thing is, Mike, like I said before, I don't know the situation with the New York media. Do they know what's going on? Do they not know what's going on? You know, I'm going to try to give Boomer the benefit of the doubt here, but if I do know what's going on, and he did say that, if he did that and violated their right to privacy, he deserves to get fired. But I'm not going to call for that right now. We'll go from there. So that leads me to the sport that I write about on Bleacher Brothers, which is horse racing. And I have an Uncle Ernie update. And for those that are going to be listening to the podcast after the fact, watching me live or watching this on demand on YouTube, on Twitch, I think you can watch on demand on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know that much about Twitter in terms of streaming. I'm sure SJ will tell me about that. But for those that are watching that do not know, Um, the I can get rid of that here. We have an adopted horse. We don't own them. We don't have to pay the fees. We don't have to do anything. Um, our boy Uncle Ernie um, is running this Saturday at Parks. He's running in the eighth race, I believe it is. Let me double check that real quick. Um, I believe it's the eighth race. Damn it! I did not want to print that. No, it's the seventh race. Seventh race at Parks. Post time at 3:37. The unofficial horse of Bleacher Brothers, Uncle Ernie, is running in a state bred allowance race going 7 furlongs on the main track. I think it's supposed to rain this weekend, so I wouldn't be surprised if he scratches out of this race. But he's running on Saturday. A purse of $70,000. So we'll be having our eyes on Parks on Saturday. For those that do not know, AJ with his real job, water purification, I believe it is. He's he knows the owner, or he works for the owner, Gil Halleckman, who owns him, Uncle Ernie, and he owns a filly which hasn't done shit this year. But Uncle Ernie is probably one of the best horses he ever had in his career. And this guy, from what I've seen from the last 10, 15 years, he only owns like one or two horses. He lives down in Florida, but what he does is he takes advantage of the Pennsylvania bred program. And those races that are not strictly for Pennsylvania breds, like this one is, um, like the race he won in March, he ran for a $50,000 purse. And if you were bred in Pennsylvania, you get an extra 40% for being a Pennsylvania bred. So for $50,000, I believe the top cut is 60%. So Gil would get $32,000. Then you add 40% to that, which is 12,000, I think it is. I've done this so many times I still forget the numbers, but you get the idea. So you get that extra juice because you bred the horse in Pennsylvania and he runs there. So, and not all states do this, but like AJ and I have had our discussions about Uncle Ernie because when he won in March, when I did not play him, um, I did tell AJ I could see the race in April, which he did run in. Had a horrible trip. The rail was dead like OJ Simpson, but bump. Um, but little things I see from time to time in racing that I do catch, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't catch. But um, you really have to understand certain things with that. Um, but in Pennsylvania they do have that, and every racetrack in every state is different. Pennsylvania has a great breeders program, and it Penn National and at Parks it's 40%. Presque Downs, which is a Churchill Downs property in Erie, Pennsylvania, they give 30% bonus. Cheapskates. But um, that is the thing that um, why Gil wants to run solely at Parks because of that extra 40%. Now that extra 40% does not come into play, I don't think. I'll see when I download the program in a couple of days. Maddie, welcome in. Man, everybody's showing up tonight. But Uncle Ernie's running in a 7 furlong race, the unofficial horse of Bleacher Brothers, and Hopefully he wins, and I'll have money in my account on Saturday. I just got to get to Saturday, um, because this week is rent week, and well, technically, rent's all paid, all the bills for this week are paid. It's just that, hey, be on the cheap the rest of the week, but that's just me. And the big, the big stuff. The field has been drawn for the Belmont Stakes. And let me pull that up here for you so you can see the graphics. Um, no, I didn't share it on there. Hold on, let me find it here. And I gotta smooth out the edges here. Uh, Mike will find out I'm why I need to smooth out the edges, and SJ as well, since you're both in the inner circle. Um, I am having all of a sudden a God damn it, what the hell's going on here? But there we go. Now I can share my screen. I'm back. Uh, Here you go. This is from the Daily Racing Form Twitter. Field of 10 for the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. I think the post time is around 6:45. I haven't gotten a confirmation of what time exactly. Let me double check that here for you as I'm talking to you. And Sierra Leone is the 9-5 morning favorite. Um, that horse does one thing. He loops back of the field, and he'll make his one run at the end, try to circle the field to win. It's not up yet. Okay. So I think it's around 6:45 the post time, anywhere between 6:45 and 7. And note that the race is on Fox. It's not on NBC. It's on Fox. Um, um, so SJ is taking her dog Gracie out, and I think I might have. No, I don't want to do it that way. Hold on. There we go. And Gracie's got to drop a dookie bomb. But anyways, field of 10. And the great thing about this race, as opposed to past years, is we had the Kentucky Derby winner, Mystic Dan in the 3 hole, war number 3 in the Derby, by the way, sees the gray, draws the rail, 8-1. Resilience at 10-1. The Wine Steward 15-1. Antiquarian won the Peter Pan. That was actually a horse I gave out on my Saturday show, which is called Also Eligible, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Bleacher Brothers Twitch. Dornock 15-1. Protective 20-1. Anna Marie 12-1. That's another closer. Mind Frame is 7-2. I need to know who that is exactly. So field of 10. I got some work to do because Protective I'm not so sure of. Um, Mind Frame I'm not so sure of, but thankfully it's Monday, and um, we still have 5 days until the Belmont, which is at Saratoga this year. in upstate New York. And, well, how I define upstate and how a New Yorker will define upstate is two different things, but you get the idea. But note that this year and next year, because you do not have, um, because Belmont is under a reconstruction project right now. They're tearing down the grandstand, building a new one. They built a synthetic course inside of the turf courses, which is going to be 1 mile in length. Um, you're redoing the surfaces and the turf courses. You're doing a little bit of everything. So you're going to have this year and next year, and depending on things go, it may even be in 26. Um, the races are going to be held at Saratoga, and they are going to um, they're going to be running 1.25 miles and not the usual 1.5 miles for the Belmont. And the reason why that is if they started at 1.25 miles, they would be on the turn. And the way that racing is, especially in the United States, I think it's the case in most cases around the country and around the world. Um, 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 it is a 1.25 miles around. Um, Now, Mike asks a good question here. Is the surface quicker than Churchill Downs? Um, I would say it depends on the day, because I can tell you one thing. I mean, um, you could say it was the time of the year at parks, for example. Um, you had horses running 6 furlongs at 117 back in March, on the day that Uncle Ernie won. Now the track record's like 107-1, which is fast. Um, and you got days where the weather is more conducive to faster times and stuff like that. It's just things that happen over time. You get speed biases, you get closing biases, you get all different things going on. But but for the most part, because they're the top notch horses, I don't think there's that much of a difference in terms of quickness. Now, a track that is very fast is Emerald Downs. And you're probably not going to see, well, you're definitely not going to see a Breeders' Cup there. And the one thing is with Emerald Downs, as we're going back to my trip here again, um, Emerald Downs does have the setup for a turf course. But from what I've Googled years ago, um, there's something with the surface that keeps them from running on the turf. I think it's, the fact that, the land there is really a lot of sinking. I don't know what it is exactly, but it was something that prevents them from doing that. And they had everything all ready to go. I mean, if you were to see an overhead shot on Google, you could see the turf course that never been used and probably never will. But I was there on Sunday before Memorial Day, and you had some horses there that were running 108-2, and they were not great horses. Um, you run that same race at Parks, they're probably running a 114. But some for whatever reason, some tracks are faster than others. And Emerald Downs, you look at the times and you just shake your head that bottom claimers are running 108-2 for 6 furlongs, for example. And that's something that happens from time to time. But, um, I mean, I can tell you right now that Saturday's show of Also Eligible, which is exclusively on Bleacher Brothers, will be, at the very least, the Belmont and the Uncle Ernie race. Um, Now, hopefully, because Park starts earlier on Saturday, they start at 12:05 as opposed to 12:40. I am hoping that we start talking about the Belmont at 10 o'clock when we start the stream. I'm hoping at around 10:15 I take a look and be like, oh, Uncle Ernie scratched. So much for that. So, um, but I can guarantee you that Saturday's article will be the Belmont. I can guarantee you that Saturday we're going to be focusing in on the Belmont on Also Eligible. Now, Also Eligible is going to be exclusively on the Bleacher Brothers Twitch. Bleacher Brothers Twitch, Bleacher Brothers YouTube, and they do Facebook, Twitter, and a whole bunch of different things. My my account that I have with EV Mux only allows me 3 platforms, and I don't think I could do more than 3 anyway. Because if I really get a following here, and I see that we're starting to get more and more people here in here right now, because I see that there's 9 people watching. I got 1 person on YouTube. I got 3 people um, on Twitter, aka X, and I have 5 people watching on Twitch, and uh, and SJ is back, and the dog decided to let loose outside, and SJ was walking back into the house like this. Oh my God, that dog! Um, um, so and here's the great part here, because I'm only doing 3 nights a week, and I'm not using that 4th day, and I'm not using some extra. Um, I'm not using the extra day, the extra platform that I will announce when the time comes, if it's okay to do so. Um, uh, I'm going through a website called EV Mux, and that's the program that I'm using, and it gives you a bunch of different platforms that you can use. You can use Rumble, you can use Kick, you can even use LinkedIn, Facebook, Pornhub. No, I'm only kidding. I guarantee you Mike is on Pornhub. No. Uh, but seriously, all you have to do is you got to link up the accounts. Um, uh, but you link your accounts, and you just hit start, and boom, all 3 start for you, or up to 8 with the account that AJ has. I'm only using 3 because I can't afford the amount that 8 accounts has. But it's evmux.com that I use, and I like it because I could do something like this, as you've seen earlier tonight. Shake my head, you know, and then Mike calls me out. I can highlight this stuff, these little things. And, you know, and let's say I had to take a potty break. I can just go to the banner. I would switch to this, my logo, and I would then go to here, and boom. But I'm not going to go on break. And I'm not on a break here, so I can hide that. And just to let you guys know that right now I'm going to be every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and X. The handle's Joe Quills on all three. And Wednesdays will be at it around the middle of July. I'll have more info on that when we get closer to that. Mike will know off air. SJ will know off air because you guys are in the inner circle. Uh, Apparently, you can have two inner circles. Um, was it Inner Circle the band that did Bad Boys? And oops, let me hide that banner here. But that banner was created by AI, not Allen Iverson, artificial intelligence. Um, I used the Copilot thing that you have on Windows here, and I said, uh, create a logo for the Joe Quill show with a microphone and this, that, and you get a bunch of rejects because they put three L's in Quills and you put Joue instead of Joe, little things like that. But finally, I found this. They finally generated a correct one time out of 100, and off I go. So that's what I created on my own. You know, won't have to worry about trademarks or copyright infringements unless Copilot says, "Hey, you can't use that shit." But but that's basically everything in a nutshell. And but Mike, I will let you know when we talk um, the news. The news with Bleacher Brothers with July and why that's the case. SJ, I will tell you, but part of the reason why right now, um, but right now, the reason why I'm not doing 4 nights a week is I'm taking advantage of the summer season. Um, I will be, at least for this week and next week, I will be at the Pennypack Music Festival, which is now at Constadters. Um, what they do every year, and um, but um, what they have there at the Pennypack Music Festival. It used to be in the middle of Pennypack Park, which is a big ass park in Northeast Philadelphia, in the area where I live. Um, what has happened over time is um, um, the neighbors got pissed time after time because people were too loud at the end of the night and blah blah blah. I mean, I call bullshit, but whatever. But actually, they found a place in Constadters, which is at Frankfurt and Academy. Mike, I pointed that out to you when we were going from Harris all the way up to my area, so we can get Chick-fil-A. If you remember, I pointed that out to you. Um, what they have is they have rock tribute bands, and every week is a different theme. Well, every week except one is a rock tribute band. One night, because the founder is a tribute to him, they have an Irish night. We don't go to Irish night only because the guy I go with uh, doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't want to deal with Bruce Springsteen. He's not a fan of Springsteen, but um, I don't even know who this week is. Let me. Um, this week is it's a Leonard Skinner tribute band called Street Survivors. Um, and then next week, the 12th, is Crystal Ship, which is a band that is a tribute to the Doors. So they have tribute bands every week. And like I said, SJ, if you want to see one of these concerts before I go to 4 nights a week, uh, you have the bedroom, I have the couch, because I'm that type of a person where I will give you the bedroom even though I got to clean it. Got clothes all over the place, but you know, I'm just that type of person. But um, now Mike, he gets to sleep in his car. Sorry, Mike. I'm kidding. Uh, but it's a little something that we have here in my area of the woods. Even though it's not in the woods anymore, it's actually at a private German club up in Northeast Philly. Let's see. Um, um, what dates for the show? It starts this Wednesday and it runs till the end of August. Um, Unfortunately, there's going to be Wednesdays where I will have to work. I think the 19th I'm going to get forced into working because I changed my day off last minute because of the fact that um, the fourth night won't be until at least the middle of July. Um, but not sure what the Me Too thing is, but hey, I would gladly be part of the Me Too movement if it's for certain person. Actually, when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl in 2018, at the end of the 2017 season, two cheerleaders who were doing an appearance at my Acme walked right on by me, and this was when Me Too was just getting started. I was like, man, I want to be part of the Me Too movement. Let's see here. I'm gonna go get off my earbuds. Yeah, thanks, Maddie. Glad to have you back, and I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, I'll be putting in the Discord about that as well. So, but the one thing I would say is it's a nice way that I can. Thank you, Maddie, and good to see you again. Um, but we'll it's a fun outing. Now, granted, I have a problem with the PA announcer there, just like I have a problem with the PA announcer with the Phillies. Um, you know, Basically, it's remove your hat, stop talking, look at the flag. Some of the shit that this fat guy does, and you know, I'm okay with taking the hat off. Even though I'm partially bald and shit, but you know, it's just that some people go completely overboard, and I'm just tired of certain things. But Mike knows all about that as well. But Mike doesn't know about the penny pack stuff. So, but it's a fun night. It's from 7 p.m. to 9:30, and this time of the year is great. Um, and I do apologize because I did not see it, but I got the email. The Blue Line podcast is now following me, and I will follow them back. They followed about 20 minutes ago. Matter of fact, I just followed them now. And if they are on, let me check something here. No, they're not on. Okay. Because sometimes, the one good thing is, and this is definitely something that I am going to work on, and Mike knows exactly what I mean. Dan Veteran Salute Baker, and that's a topic for another day. But the one thing I will say, and first of all, I apologize to the Blue Line podcast because um, I did not see that come up, and I apologize. That's something that This is why I'm glad I have a 6 week window until that extra layer happens. But um, I think what the plan is when sometimes between now and the end of middle of July, end of July, the plan is for me. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me, Blue Line Podcast. Glad. Oh, Brian. Oh, Brian. All right. If I had my sound drops tonight, I would have given myself one of those because it just did not connect. And I saw you mention it. I think you mentioned it on SJ's podcast. Not her podcast, on uh, her um, Discord about your podcast. So yeah, it takes a few seconds to realize it, and you know we're in the we're in the goofy stages of the show, and just to give you an idea of what's going to happen when we go to that fourth night. Um, you don't have to go to the. You don't have to change. I know who you are now, but I do appreciate you following me on your podcast account as well. But the one thing is when by the time mid July comes around, end of July, when that extra and Brian switch back. So all of SJ's crew that watch my show have been in here tonight. SJ's been in here. She's around. There she is. Um, Maddie was here, and my good buddy Mike, Big Mike, he's been here the whole time. He's just watching me ramble on here. Um, so basically, I have 6 to 8 weeks that I can iron things out here, and I'm doing 3 nights a week through the middle to end of July. When that extra facet comes into play, um, not only am I going to do, um, not only am I going to do um, stream on my channel, I'm also going to stream on the Bleacher Brothers channel. So I will be having both of them going at the same time. How I will do that, I have no effing clue. We'll figure it out. Thankfully, we got 6 to 8 weeks to figure it out. Those that are in the inner circle are going to know what's going on, only because if I mention it on stream, I don't want to jinx anything, just the way that I am. Uh, yes, Brian, I got a new headset. This is a headset that I actually got as my 25th anniversary gift at my job. What they do is every 5 years, I think it starts at 10, might have been at 5. Um, it's working. You get a catalog and you go onto the website, you say, I want this, and they mail it back. They mail it to you. Now, because I was in Seattle, I had to put a vacation hold on it because of the fact that, I don't want it sitting in my apartment. I didn't want it sitting in the lobby for 3 or 4 days, especially what this headset costs. When I looked it up on Amazon, there was no way I could do it. And also, Mike was out of town, even though he's about 15 miles away from me on the other side of Citizens Bank Park. Just to use as an example, uh, as a center point. Um, Mike was out of town last weekend, so I couldn't say, "Hey, Mike, can you do me a favor?" Uh, and even Mickey's here. Mickey, welcome in. Uh, yeah, and Mickey's a good person as well. He's um, part of the Tony Bruno circle that I have as well. Um, so Mickey's a good person as well. Um, and if you're a good person, I'm going to be promoting the shit out of you. So um, we have SJ here, Mickey, Brian, um, Mike, Maddie was here. Um, you know, I'm up to 11 viewers right now, which is like a world record for me. But it's also on 3 different platforms as well. So, but once we get that fourth night going, I'm going to be double streaming. However, I do it with EV Mux. I imagine it's going to be using 2 different Google accounts, which I do have, by the way. Um, and we'll go from there. So, um, and I'm also going to have the audio component uploaded tonight. And, lot of things that are going my way all of a sudden. And, just having so much fun with this. And that's what this is. This is about fun. And, I don't want to be the type of person that worries about bits and subs and numbers. I'm more worried about with the audio portion where it gets picked up, not necessarily the number of people. Because once I start worrying about numbers, it's like, does nobody like me anymore? That's the thing I don't want to do. Um, so I deserve fun. I agree. Um, don't worry about all that. Yeah, I agree. And um, some people that won't be named because this was a private conversation between SJ and myself. We do know that there are a few people out there that are like, if you donate, you know, you know, little bit more modern than the Sally Struther stuff. Like for 22 cents a day, um, you will continue on. So, shit, my broadcast is ending. Hold on. Um, if I lost you, I apologize, but um, but that's another thing here because I'm still learning this stuff here. So, let me know if you're still on here. If you're still watching. Oh no. Okay, hold on a second.